So this episode is really going to feel like we've got two ridiculously, hugely contrasting games. We've got a Premier League game and an FA Cup final to play. So things still up for grabs, unfortunately not the Premier League though. But of course, welcome back to Academy to Anfield. A couple of things to obviously touch upon. If you were with me in the last episode, we had a huge collapse, did not turn up against Man City and effectively cost us the Premier League title. So let's take a quick look. Of course, Arsenal are the champions. They're 5 points clear. They've still got a game to play, but of course we can't catch them. That Man City game really screwed us over considering we beat Man United 1-0. We went on this great run in April, but just could not win against Man City away. And of course, that leaves us with Brighton, who we do play at home. It's going to be our last game of the Premier League season. I feel like what we're going to do is put out a kind of a rotational team, we'll call it. A team that's probably made up of a few players that haven't had much game time that we still like to develop. And maybe I might even pluck a couple from the under-18s. Just give them a whirl, see how things go. Because if we lose, it does not matter. We're still 9 points clear of Man City in third place. So unfortunately, we've not won the title, but we've come incredibly close with the squad that we've got. Considering, let's take a look. Considering at the beginning of the season, because we lost all of those players, we were actually predicted to finish, I think it was as low as 6th, but somehow we've been boosted up to 4th. But again, we've still beat that. We finished 2nd. And then, of course, we've got redemption against Arsenal potentially. We do play them in the FA Cup final. So we could, obviously, we're already FA Cup holders. We could go back-to-back in FA Cup wins. We could also stop Arsenal from winning the double. So, yeah, like I said, two very contrasting games. We've got a strange one against Brighton. And then, of course, we've got Arsenal in the FA Cup final. So, without further ado, let's get into the Brighton lineup and show you some of these players that we're going to try and start with. See how things go. So here we go. Lineup for the Brighton game. We've got a couple of little surprises in there. We've got Bailey Carrot in goal. We've got Bradley, Grant making his first team debut today. Kanate and Beck, the back four. Midfield 3, King, Elliott and Bajcetic. And then the front 3, we've gone with Tornyanen, Webb, who hasn't played a lot of games this year. Not as many as we'd like. And of course, Kumas up front. So we've got a couple of surprises in that first team lineup. However, I just didn't want to be too unrealistic and just stick everyone in from like the under-18s because you're just asking to be absolutely spanked. So I've gone with a couple of players who I'd like to probably focus on a little bit more next year. The likes of Johnny Webb and, I know Grant is only 16, but potentially bringing him in at some point next season as well. Carrot, of course, a goalie as well. We need to look at developing pretty soon. So I thought we've got a good balance between youth and kind of first team here. Enough to win the game at least. I do think it's enough to win the game. Brighton are, well, we can see them down there, only 5 points from safety. I don't think they'll get relegated because obviously they're 5 points clear at the moment. But yeah, it doesn't look like they get relegated at all, does it? So yeah, we've played quite well this season. Considering anyone that's sort of followed this series from the get-go, we obviously won. Just like to brag and remind you that we won 3 Premier League titles in a row. The 4th season, we really tried to switch it up and let youth dominate essentially, and it kind of backfired. We spent most of the season back and forth between, getting the dreaded messages of, we need a good result this next game, otherwise I'll be sacked. That happened, I can't even tell you how many times, but we got there in the end. We finished 5th, I think, so just outside the automatic Champions League qualification spots, but we did finish 5th and we did get that extra spot from the coefficients thingy that they do, and made it in that way. But this year we've gone one better. We finished 2nd. Kind of gutted that we didn't win the league, of course, but there's always next year. The team's only going to get stronger. This game, however, is so far one to forget. Obviously, we've had quite a few shots first half. Not good seeing Brighton here with the ball just outside our box, just inside the second half. João Pedro, I'd like to think, he's hit the post. I'd like to think we managed to get the rebound away. I think we're good. Yeah, we are. It's gone right over the bar there. But yeah, so far, quite a lot of shots this game, but not a lot of chances. Good chances anyway being created. Kind of sums us up on our bad day, really. When we don't turn up, we can't really grind out those victories. We generally turn up and spank a team, or we don't turn up and can barely muster any sort of shot. But we look like we're growing into the second half ever so slightly. I think, is that a highlight? No, it wasn't. Okay, forget that. Let's look at making some substitutes. Let's try and get Jason Stone scoring some goals. I think what we'll do is we'll bring Watmore on as well. He can come on for Owen Beck. And apart from that, I'm wondering whether... Johnny Webb, he's not... Do you know what? Tornyanen, he's probably looking at starting the FA Cup final on that left. So I think what we'll do is bring Carvalho on just to rest his legs. But yeah, Johnny Webb, I was about to touch upon him. He's not had a good game at all by the looks of things, but still young. Still got very, very good bags of potential, in fact. We're still obviously looking to hopefully probably develop him a lot more next season. I can't imagine Salah will be with us that much more probably after next season. So yeah, he's definitely going to be one. Of course, Tornyanen is looking good, as is Ben Doak to a certain degree. So, what more there? Lost out. This does not look good. This could be our downfall. The fact that we've put so many... I think this is one... Oh, and somehow we've got that away. I was going to say, I think this is 1-0. But yeah, that could have been our downfall there. Sort of too many youth players at the back there. But we've somehow come away with it. I imagine if I'd put any more in, I've just demanded some more. If we score now, I'm sure they'll be peed off with me, won't they? But Brighton look to be dominating the ball. Bradley there with a nice little tackle. Hopefully we can start from the back. But yeah, talking about Johnny Webb, he will be in and around the squad a lot more. Probably a bit like Tornyanen has been this season, who's developed very quickly. Of course, Mark King as well. We'll take a look at him at the end of the season, but he is very, very good player now. I'll show you his stats sort of next episode when we look at the whole season in general. But here's Elliot from 25 yards out. Elliot, captain today, smashes that ball in, and that was, a hell of a strike there. From Elliot there, Bajcetic with the ball, plays a nice little ball into Elliot in the middle of the park. Good little first touch, and look at that, 25 yards out, into the top corner. You do not save those, keeper. However, all of that, we've got a highlight for Brighton straight away. So I think, just looking at Bajcetic, looks like he could come off there. Grant has played an okay game. Kind of didn't really expect too much more from him. However, he's been solid. That is the main point. I hope I haven't jinxed that by saying it too much. But hopefully this will be 2-0. Jason Stone there, lovely ball out to Carvalho. Looks like we got plenty of players forward. Can this be 2-0? Can we wrap it up? What more to King? That's just gone round the post there by the keeper. Good save, keeper. Out for a corner. Imagine Elliot to take this. Do we get another chance with Pennington? Thing is, without Pennington on the field and without Kanate, we haven't really got the aerial, threat sort of thing. So, but generally, we've been pretty good. Second half, we've definitely grown into the game, haven't we? But Gravenberch, with the ball. Plays the ball, Bradley there to Stone. Stone still can't score. Started the season off so well, didn't he? But his goals have not totally dried up the last sort of the second half of the season, but near enough. So we would like to see him start scoring. He does pop up the occasional goal, but generally speaking, they're not really making an impact. Generally, either scoring the consolation goals or scoring when we're 2-3-0 up. So I would like to see Jason Stone getting a bit more of an important role in the squad next season and beyond. I think he's obviously our best chance of a proper forward. And there's Carvalho to make it 2-0. Harvey Elliott has been the star of the show. Harvey Elliott with the first goal and the assist for the second goal. We've wrapped that up. We beat Brighton, surely 2-0. And nice to at least see us finish the season on a win. We're 10 points clear, 11 points clear of Man City, I think it was. And it's just hopefully nice to see Elliott with a third. No, that's gone wide. But Arsenal have been in great form, haven't they? That's going to be the biggest problem in the next game. Let's just take a look, see what the Arsenal score is or not. But yeah, that's going to be the biggest problem. We've got Arsenal in the FA Cup final. Huge chance for redemption. Huge chance for revenge on Arsenal. But they are a very, very good team. And it depends what kind of team we turn up with. And how has that stayed out? How has that ball stayed out of the goal there? We don't care anyway. It could be a clean sheet. It could be a clean sheet for Watmore and for Grant. And, of course, Elliott there with the man of the match easily. But there we go. We finished the season 2-0 winners at home to Brighton. That's the end of the Premier League season. Of course, we've got the FA Cup final to play against Arsenal. So here we go with the Arsenal lineup for the FA Cup final. Of course, we've gone a lot stronger than we did against Brighton. We've got Alisson in goal, Gomez, Konate, Bajcetic and Robertson make up the back four. The midfield, we've got King, Soberslai's back in the team, and Gravenberch. And then, of course, the front three are Tornian and Salah playing behind Jason Stone. So we're about to kick off and we could get any type of performance. I was debating whether to kind of set up as a bit of a cautious approach and hit Arsenal on the counter, that kind of style of football. But if I'm really honest, it doesn't suit us. We'd like to play the possession football. We like to play the positive game. I want to be attacking Arsenal. So, of course, this could go essentially it could go one or two ways. I could win it or I could lose it. That's kind of all it comes down to. But I'm hoping we see one of our better performances. Of course, the kind of one thing to maybe mention is that the last 4 seasons we've at least won a trophy. This season, however, we haven't won nothing, and that is the problem. I don't want to finish the season winning absolutely nothing. Arsenal are sort of looking quite dominant. They seem to have built up quite a bit of possession. However, it's not always about possession. Havertz with the ball, and luckily he hits that over there. I think already we're going to shout for a bit of encouragement, just to try and break up this Arsenal momentum. I mean, yes, we've had more shots, but Arsenal seem to be having the more possession so far. Very cagey in terms of shots, 1 each. I think 2 for us and 1 for Arsenal. But we are playing around in the right area of the pitch this highlight. So Robertson with the ball, plays it to King, nice ball through to Stone. However, Arsenal get it away, but we get it back with Bajcetic, plays it back to Konate. We kind of feel like we've gone the wrong way. Feel like we should be going the opposite way on the pitch. But Soberslai to Salah, lovely through ball to Stone, who, I mean, he's the new Darwin Núñez, isn't he, at the moment? He's absolutely skied that from the edge of the box. I wish, do you know what? That's probably the one thing I'd love. I'd love a striker that gets those little one-on-ones there and you think, this is easy. You know, like you would with Haaland. You'd like to think, puts it in the back of the net. But Jason Stone is a mixed bag, is probably the way to describe him so far in his career. I think he's only 19, maybe even 20 now. But he could go one of two ways. And let's just hope he becomes a world beater at some point. But Tornian with the ball, very quiet. So, I mean, what happened there? Ramsdale spilled the ball out and kind of just a bit of madness around the Arsenal box for a second. But it looks like, that highlight's ended. No real chance there, if I'm honest. Whatever that was. Arsenal with the free kick on the edge of our box. This isn't what you like to see, is it? 50 minutes into a game at 0-0. Martinelli with the free kick. I mean, that's hit the bar, I think, and gone over as Alisson saved that, hasn't he? Goes out for a corner. And I just feel a bit nervous every time Arsenal get the ball. Nketiah on the edge of the box, back to Odegaard. Trying to play a nice little set piece there, Arsenal, but it backfires. We get the ball away with an offside. So I just think, demand more. We've got to be a bit more tougher, haven't we? I mean, I'm a bit lost for what we do. Just trying to think, really. I don't know who to bring off. I may look at putting Salah up front in a second, taking off Jason Stone and potentially putting Harvey Elliott out there, or moving Harvey Elliott back to the midfield. I think that's what we're going to do, I think we're going to put Salah up top, Soberslai on the right wing, and then bring Harvey Elliott on to play as the box-to-box. However, there is a highlight that oh God, it's not for us, is it? Havertz with the ball, Alisson round the corner of the goal, but I mean, we don't want to set ourselves up for a loss, do we? I say it time and time again, but this game can be cruel. This game can be really cruel, as I'm sure you're all aware. And the last thing you want is to lose an FA Cup final through your own mistake. I'd rather lose to an absolute worldie. I'm just wondering if we'll just go attacking. Screw it. Let's go it. Go and attacking. Arsenal are completely dominating us, so I don't really want to sit back and lose this without trying to win. I suppose that's the best way to say it. It's not been our best performance. However, Arsenal have got big game players, and it's probably one of the things we're lacking at the moment is the big game players. A bit more encouraging there. For the last couple of minutes of the game, Tornjanen looks like he's going to have to come off at full time. I mean, we don't want to concede now. This would be really cruel. But it looks to be extra time. I think what we're going to do is tell him we're still not happy. But let's go into our tactics. I think Tornjanen is going to have to come off. Kumas on. Mark King off. Oh, Mark King staying on. No, we're gonna completely rejig this whole team. So there we go. I won't explain it all. You're looking right at it, but yeah, there we go. Hopefully, something a little bit different, fresh legs, will help us win. Pennington coming on as well is clearly a good move. He's very, very good with his head, so gives us a better chance with those. Do you know what? I'm going to go back to a balanced approach. Actually, the fact that we're getting deep into extra time, I don't want to be still bombing it up the pitch, desperate to score. But yeah, Pennington on gives us a much better chance at set pieces, etc. Penalties is a cruel way, but I think it might be going to penalties, you know. It's been quite a 50-50 game to a certain degree. Probably Arsenal have shaved it, if we're being honest. But just looking at the stats, generally it's pretty even. They've got, XG is not that much more than us. That might be different by the end of the game, but for now, XG isn't that much different. I want to keep Soberslai on, more so for the penalties, because it is penalties. There we go. Surely, yeah. We've still got Mo Salah on the pitch. We've got Soberslai, Gravenberch. Do you know what? I'll just let them do it for me. Here we go. Last penalty shootout we played in, we did lose. I can't remember who it was against. It might have been Arsenal, but I cannot remember. Odegaard misses the first penalty. We like to see things like that. Mo Salah about to step up, and surely Mo Salah can put us at an advantage with his first penalty, and he does. So far, so good. I still can't believe Odegaard put that wide. Jesus now for Arsenal. It would be lovely to see Brazilian versus Brazilian. Alisson to save, but unfortunately he doesn't. And Arsenal score their first penalty in the second attempt. Soberslai again, someone else who has been absolutely brilliant this season. Generally scores all of his penalties, and he does it again there. This is where it gets nervous. I would like to see a save from Alisson, give us that breathing space. Unfortunately not. But of course, as long as we keep our nerve, we are in, advantage to us. Gravenberch steps up. He scores as well. Sends the keeper the wrong way. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to jinx us. But this is looking pretty okay. Would be nice to see a save. Oh, and he's hit the post. Oh, that gives us a chance. Arsenal have missed 2 penalties, and this is the chance to win the FA Cup. Harvey Elliott is stepping up to take this. This is a big, big moment for us. Elliott to take the penalty, to win us the FA Cup, to keep our streak going of a trophy in every season. He does. There we go. We've won the FA Cup for the second year in a row. We have retained it, and we can finally sit back, relax, watch a little trophy lift and think, somehow we did it. We got a little bit of revenge against Arsenal for winning the Premier League. We've taken the FA Cup from them. They're not going to win the double. And we get to keep our streak going of 5 consecutive seasons with a trophy. And I'm just pretty pleased that we did win one. Of course, the biggie, we do want to win the Champions League in the next couple of years. But for now, we just enjoy winning the FA Cup for the second year running. And there we go. Of course, probably not the performance we wanted. However, I mean, it's penalties, it's 50-50, isn't it? It's just kind of who keeps their nerve on the day, but we keep our nerve. We win the FA Cup, and there we go. End of season 5 there, guys. So far, so good. We've probably got another 3, maybe 4 seasons in us. I'd like to probably say we've got 3 more seasons to try and win the Premier League and the Champions League with this squad, plus an additional couple of youth players, because we're getting to that stage where, generally speaking, the first team are homegrown players. So we are getting there. We're probably just over more than halfway through, maybe 3/4 of the way through this save now. So, of course, we'll talk more in depth about all these players and their development in the next episode when we do the big season review and we take a look at the player development. So, of course, as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.